Greetings, everyone. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey, guys, how many of you guys are familiar with the Emergency Fund for People Act? The Emergency Fund for People Act. Some of you guys look like say, yeah, I know what that is. But then there's another group of you guys, that other group that I always tell you, you need to study to show yourself approval. You need to turn the television off and start seeking out some real information, research. Find out what things are going on and what things are going to impact you. Okay? Well, the Emergency Money, for the People Act is a bill that Congress last year Congress signed into act. All right, that this year the Senate in this March. So last year around July, Congress passed this bill, Emergency, Money for the People Act. You ask yourself the question, well, wasn't last year the economy doing extremely great according to Trump, according to the stock market? Why was Congress passing Emergency Money for the People Act in 2019, the summer of 2019? Not only was Congress passing that bill went to the Senate. In the Senate, this past March, passed that bill as well. So here it is almost a year ago, they were working on this magic money, this money that the country does not have, as we were told, right? Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. And it does not go unsaid for those of us, who are Hebrew Israelites who were protesting and in our own way mandating that if they wanted our vote, we wanted reparations. But like we heard many of the politicians say, from Bernie Sanders to Elizabeth Warren, several others, there was no money in the coffers to pay reparations for the so-called Negro, the American descendants of, slavery, right? There was no money for that, for the ADOS group. But, we got past that apparently, right? Because coronavirus just came right there and just wiped all of the doggone common sense and the passion and the desire for justifying, to the righting of a wrong that was perpetuated against Yah's people for 400 plus some odd years, I'm sorry. And now, as you know, the reparations conversation is not going on because instead of us giving it to those who truly deserved it through the sweat, the debt, the toil, the blood, the suffering, the enslavement, the transatlantic brutality, the slaughtering, etc., we're not going to just give it to them. If we got something to give, we're just going to give it to everybody, right? At least 80 million Americans have gotten the $1,200. And we're talking about now for this emergency, this Emergency Money for the People's Act, my struggle. They're talking about now, if you are 16 years old or older and you make less than $130,000 a year, you will qualify. This is what the whole Emergency Money for the People Act is, that you're going to receive $600 a week, a little bit more or less, or $2,000 a month for the next 6 months. Woohoo! I guess. I know a lot of you guys just jumping up and down and say, oh man, I'm going to buy me. Man. Yeah. Well, again, guys, you know what I'm saying? Remember who's giving you this money. It is the United States of America. And one thing about the United States of America, they know a good deal when they see one. So what do you mean by that, DFG? They know a good deal when they see one. They are never going to put good money on bad money. You can believe that. So there is a caveat there. There is a hook there that you can't see. And I'm going to share some information with you, scripturally speaking, as to why possibly many of you guys won't see until maybe it's too late to do anything about, what has happened, to you, or what has happened to your fellow citizens of these, United States. All right. But let me share some additional information with you because I don't want to miss anything. I think I never got the caveats of this. I mean, the bigger piece of it. You got 80 million who's going to get the $1,200. Oh, and by the way, our friends in Puerto Rico, they got their $1,200. Well, I shouldn't say $1,200. They did get their stimulus check. So If you're one of my Puerto Rican friends, you can leave in a comment and let everybody know, what you got or what your cousin got. Wink, wink. You don't want to tell your personal business. But they finally figured out where Puerto Rico was located and that it is an American territory. So if you're going to be giving stimulus money to non-citizens, people who are illegally here in this country, surely you would support Puerto Rico and other United States territories, because guess what? When all the other things that these countries, have committed to the United States, these countries fight in United States wars. Many Puerto Ricans died in Vietnam. Many. If you go over to the Vietnam Memorial Wall in D.C., you read those names and see how many, Hernandezes and Garcias and, et cetera, Mendezes. They're there. They're there. Camachos. They're sitting right there on that wall. So if they can die for America, surely they can reap some of the benefits of being, a so-called territory of the United States of America. So good that is happening in Puerto Rico. But back to the subject, at hand. The United States is not the only country, guys, that's actually coming up with this, money, for people who are struggling due to, as they have told us, the coronavirus. But again, I'm gonna take one little small step back, just to keep this light going on, in your head. If the coronavirus just came about in late, January, early January, depending on if you want to include what happened in China, why were individuals in our Congress, the people who are supposed to be representing you, why were they passing bills almost a year ago to bail you out when the economy, according to them, was at an all-time high? In terms of, again, we're talking about the stock market, how great Making America Great was going. You remember that from, the Trump administration? So it should now begin to cause you to think a little bit and say, well, wait, why? Why did they know something was coming that they didn't tell us about? Or even worse, did they plan something to come that they didn't tell us about? Surely, if they planned it, that would put them at the level of psychopath, mad men, mad women, diabolical, wicked demons from the pits of hell. And then the Senate, generously, I might add, fully agreed. Well, yeah, let's get this deal done. Now, obviously, it hadn't passed or hadn't been implemented. I guess Trump hasn't signed off on it yet, but I suspect he will. And again, the question I present back to each and every one of you, especially those of us who believe in Yah, those of us who are the people of Yah, we're supposed to have eyes to see. What does that mean, eyes to see? We're supposed to have the critical thinking ability we call wisdom to be able to see through a con game when that con game is coming our way. Because that's what the Rahu puts inside of us. The spirit of Yah helps us to see the things that Yah will want us to see. In other words, it lightens up things. Transparency. But yet, this government was planning this thing out almost a year ago that they had no idea was coming, and somehow, miraculously it started in China, although the place in China where it started was being fully funded by the United States of America. But you didn't hear me say that, okay? But the United States is not the only country. There are other countries that have come up with this package. And I say this to you because when I share the end of this message with you, I suspect that you may begin to understand what this thing truly is all about. I'm talking about the coronavirus, this stimulus money, this, what they call this, this emergency money, for the People Act. I suspect, guys, you may begin to question what kind of money you're taking here. Okay? Why is this? I'm not going to give it away. I'm so tempted to give it away, but I'm not going to give it away. I just want you to follow along and you connect your own dots, because that's exactly what I'm doing and that's exactly what I've done. But there are other countries. I'll give you an example. England. doing the same program. Portugal doing the same program. Norway doing it. Sweden is doing it. Spain is doing it. Germany is doing it. Italy is doing it. The Netherlands are doing it. South Korea is doing it. Ireland is doing it. France is doing it. Hong Kong is doing it. Japan is doing it. Malaysia is doing it. Denmark is doing it. To name a few. I think I said Germany. I hope I did. And not only that, but there's another $1 trillion that the International Monetary Fund. Now, the International Monetary Fund is equivalent to the World Bank. But the difference is that it lends money to other countries. In return, those countries have to pay back that money with interest. Oh, and by the way, the International Monetary Fund is located in, yes, America. All right? And is not a part of the United States government. It's a separate banking group that pretty much lend money, and when they don't lend money to extort, I'll tell it just like it is. It's extortion money. And when you can't pay that money back, then you have to pay them back with resources. Sometimes you have to pay them back with the whole country. All right? And that's why many of these countries all over the world have all of these American industry there. Some of you guys may have thought these countries are the goodness of their heart. You say, well, Americans are good people, and at the end of the day, they know how to do business very well. They're very honorable and decent. Yeah, right. And so let's do business with them. Never understanding that when they can't pay back that money, we're going to send the police into their countries. And our policemen are going to collect that money with interest immediately. And I'm not talking about your local police officer. I'm talking about what we call, or you call, the United States military, Air Force, Navy, Army, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, any other kind of force that I might have meant. They will send the police there, and they will kick ass and take names until they get everything that country has as far as a tangible resource that they can monetize for taking that loan from the goodness of the International Monetary Fund heart, those bankers who just love these poor third world countries so much that they're going to give them now $1 trillion to help them out as well. And again, of course, when they can't pay it back, then, obviously they'll become slaves of, the United States of America. Oh, I know you thought slavery was gone. There was no such thing as slavery. You might want to go and ask the Hebrew people and the dark-colored people in Libya right now. Are they being enslaved and are in the slave market in that country where Gaddafi was the leader of that country? Obviously, he was destroyed. America took all his gold and then allowed the Muslim Brotherhood, or whoever the hell they were, called themselves, now to run that country, and they're running slavery right through the country. Right with the blessings of the United States of America. So, just in case you thought slavery was, this 400-year one-time thing, and and just the sins of our forefathers, as you like to hear a lot of these Republicans and Dixiecrats and Southern segregationists, hint hint, Joe Biden, say, "Oh, I had nothing to do with that. That was a long time ago." You better go, as they say, in the hoods of America, you better go ask somebody. No, it's alive and well. You take that dirty money, the beast will own you. And yeah, I said the beast, because I'm about to take you to the end of this message. So all this stimulus money and all of this Emergency Money for People Act, where you can sit at home and they can supplement you and give you all the things you need as long as you stay inside and, keep your social distancing and you wear your mask when they tell you to wear your mask. And if they tell you, that only two people can be together at one particular time, as long as you're willing to do all those things and be under surveillance 24/7. Oh, and also, inside of the quarantine, if we, open up these cities, or when we open up these cities, there's some other little little other things we're gonna, little the caveat things. I'm using that word too many times. I get it. So, but to kind of, just to, ensure that we got you exactly where we need you to be for this beast system to be as effective as they intended to be. And, there's a little thing that they're talking about all over the country. Talking about all your government officials, all of your mayors, notice, all of your governors, notice, all of your senators, notice, all of your congress people, notice. Why are they all talking about, we can get some normalcy if we just get them vaccinated? You mean the sick people vaccinated? No. The well ones too. We need to if we can just get all of them vaccinated. Because if we get them vaccinated, then, it'll be safe to come out. Because, phase 2 going to come. And we don't want phase 2 to get you. The boogeyman's going to come. So we got to get them vaccinated. So we don't have a phase 2. And if you don't get vaccinated, you can't come in our stores. What do you mean you can't come in the store? I can come in the store. This is America. There are stores right now you can't go into unless you have your face covered up. And yes, this is America. You still with me so far? You haven't left yet? Good. Because now Yah is going to give you some real deep dive revelation knowledge. And I'm going to take you, where I'm going. I'm going to take you right to the book. To our history book. And inside of our history book, I'm going to take you to a conversation between one of our forefathers, John, one of the original 12 disciples of Yeshua. John had a conversation with Yeshua while he was in exile. And Yeshua shared some things with him that would happen at the end of man's time on earth. He talked to him about a global situation that would happen. All those 14, 16 countries and the other countries are going to get a part of that trillion. See, this whole thing now is about to get global. Back up 1 second. It's already global, but it's about to get deep dive in the trenches. Slavery owning you. I wanted to say another word, but I ain't going to. I was about to owning your posterior. Serious. This is serious. And John got information to pass on to us, our ancestors, his ancestry. At least, I guess, to his. I guess we would be his ancestral children, for lack of a better word. For many, many, many generations. And he passed this down so that in this last day, we would know what Yah had to say that would correspond and validate itself right here to what you're seeing today. Let me give you some information. Let's go to Revelations chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 11. And this is not going to be long. You've already went through the 80% of this message. We're about to get right down towards the end here. And here's what John said. And I beheld another beast. Another beast coming up out of the earth. All this obsession with things going on, underground bunkers and different things under the earth, military bases under the earth, homes under the earth, Okay. Fallen angels under the earth. The wicked fallen angels under the earth who's teaching men weaponry and arts and technology under the earth. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. And he caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Now what kind of fire would that be? nuclear fire, you know, electronic magnetic pulse. Remember that? Kind of forgot about that, right? That kind of fire. 5G fire. Oh yeah, I said 5G fire. All fire, guys, it doesn't burn the same. All fires are not the same kind of fire. I guess that's the right way to say it. There are different kinds of fire. So what kind of fire are we talking about here? Could be that kind of fire. And let me get on farther into this. And he does great wonders and makes fire come down from the earth. All right? And he deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of the miracle which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying that them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had been wounded by a sword and did live. And he had the power to give life to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Could that be some type of hologram, something that's coming? We've heard people talking about the holograms of all these entertainers and stuff. Remember, they're going to these concerts. Remember the one at the Super Bowl with Prince? Remember that? Looked like the real deal, can speak, can perform, and do all the things as though Prince was right there. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image should both speak and cause as many that would not worship the image to be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads. And that no man might buy and sell, except he had the mark or the name of that beast or the number of his name. Isn't that something? So in other words, every single man would have to be a part of this system. Monetary system, control system, global system. And if you refused it, then you would be what? Killed. In other words, you're going to be ostracized. You're going to be apprehended, as they did in New York with a guy who did not have on a face mask just yesterday. You're going to be in prison, into the FEMA camps. Ultimately, you'll die of some disease. I'm sure of it. Or maybe they'll put you on one of the guillotines that this country has invested millions of dollars in. Of course, some of you didn't know about that. Guillotines, For who? Why? When? Where? In the United States? I thought it was the land of the free. But here's the end of this message here. And I'm going to bring it down right now, right to the end. If you decide to take the mark, because you're not going to be able to buy or sell, as you just heard me say, unless you're a part of this program. And they're going to make sure they monetize it and monetize you to make sure they're capturing you as a part of this program. The Emergency Money, or the Emergency People Money Act, right? You just heard me talk about that. Somehow they knew this a year ago. Now you're going to have to think and you're going to have to stretch to connect this dot. And if you can, then praise Yah. If you can't, it's not Yah's will for you. Last but not least, he says, and those who take the mark will drink the wrath of the wine of Yahuwah, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And they shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment shall ascend up forever and ever. And they will have no rest day or night who worship the beast, his image, or whoever receives the mark of his name. Remember that mark I just read about? He calls them all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bound, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads. Monetary system. Maybe the chip. Maybe the vaccine. But whatever that system is, when you buy into it and you accept it, then you are selling your soul, as the old saying goes, to the devil. And I know many of you guys saying, well, what else can I do if I need the money? Well, there's a lot you can do. First of all, I'm not telling you not to take the money. I'm telling you to make sure you understand what you're taking and make sure you put yourself in a position that if it comes with vaccines and other stipulations, that will be the time you just tell them, you know what, you don't have to give me no money. Keep your money. I don't need your money. I don't need your blood money. I'm not a slave. Because this is exactly what the system is coming down to. Not only those 16 countries, but all those other struggling countries are going to be siphoning off these trillions of dollars, I'm sure, by the time this is done. And when all this stuff is set and everyone is indebted to the beast, Babylon, Yah will come and he will judge Babylon, and he will judge every single one of you who are part of that system of Babylon. Because you will have willingly said, I'd rather eat and I'd rather buy than to serve Yah. And you're not going to serve him if you're ignorant to who he is. And Sunday church is not going to get you there. I'm sorry. And your religion is not going to get you there either. Those who worship Yah have to worship Yah in spirit and in truth. What is truth? A purity of your heart. I talked about that in Galatians the other day. And if I had more time, I would tell you what that looks like, since I told you what the wickedness looks like. But I think that somehow or another this video won't let me do it. You know, it's interesting as I was sharing it, I'm looking at it and said, oh man, all my power is going, you know? And I'm sure that's intentional. So if it cuts off, it cuts off. If it doesn't cut off, then we were blessed, okay? But when it talked about, you know, the fruits of the Spirit, right? How do I know? How do I know the beauty of what that Spirit will bring to me? Is there something that I can measure it by? Just like we talk about the other things that we're able to measure, right? How would I know it? Let's see. How can I know? Love you guys. You're there. You didn't leave me. All right. Then that means you want to know. And surely I want you to know. Let's get it here. Well, you know what? It's going to be Galatians chapter 5, starting at verse 21. And I'm going to tell you what it is verbatim, since I can't locate it. Love, kindness, forgiveness, long-suffering, mercy, patience. What else? Charity. And any other thing that's of a sacrificial love to one other. In essence, if you love that neighbor as you love yourself, you loving your brother as yourself, doing to them what you want them to do unto you under any circumstances. And remember who your neighbor is. When they ask Yeshua, who is your neighbor? He said, those that do the will of my Father in heaven. So what will Yah do? That's what he's talking about. And you can't serve Yah if you don't have Yah's spirit. And you surely can't serve Yah if you don't have the heart of Yah. And this is to you Hebrew Israelites, my brothers and my sisters, my neighbors. Because many of us and many of you, not us, many of you have gone the way of the heathen. You don't love Yah, you don't love his word. All you love is mammon, and you know it. But for those of us, as Joshua said, you know, let the world do what the world wants to do. But as far as me and my house, we're serving Yah. Let the world judge themselves. I'm going to be judged by the Most High. As the old saying, only Yah can judge me. Yah will judge me with the word. And this is what's going to cleanse me, and it will cleanse you. Love you guys. Talk to you later now. Bye.